Shalom from Israel. This is Hannah speaking to you from Voice for Israel Ministries. And I'm here in this beautiful place. It's a little village in the hills of Judea, in the land of Israel. And I'm actually in the backyard of where we're staying right now. It's like this perfect little place of refuge for us. And come out here and listen to the birds singing every morning and at evening. It's beautiful. And I noticed there was this nice olive tree here in the yard too. So you see I have a little olive branch and some little olives from the olive tree. And so I wanted to share a little word with you about the olive tree and about the olives. I actually have a couple I want to share with you, but this is one of them. So the thing about the olive branch is that it's always been a symbol of peace, right? It comes from, way back in Genesis, Noah's Ark. Noah sent out the dove, and at first it came back with nothing because there was still flood waters over the land, and then he sent it out again and it came back with an olive branch in its beak. And that was a symbol of peace. It was like peace with God, reconciliation. God promised he would never send a flood to destroy the earth again. So the olive branch has become a symbol of peace and of shalom. And I read today that one of the symbols of the olive branch is a ceasing of hostilities between two parties, or an end of a conflict. A ceasing of hostilities between two parties. So isn't this really interesting? Because when God talks about how we all fit together, Jews and Gentiles, in the Messiah, he talks about how he himself is our peace, our shalom. Let's see if I can read this to you from Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 2, I'm starting in verse 14. It says, "For he," and it's talking about the Messiah, "he himself is our shalom, who has made both one." That's both, talking about Jews and Gentiles, one, that is in Hebrew, echad. And echad is the same word used as our God is one. Or a man and a woman shall be married and become one flesh. That's the word echad. So it's a term of intimacy. We are to have this intimate relationship through the Messiah. So it says, he himself is our peace. He's our shalom. He's made both one. He has broken down the middle wall of separation. That in Hebrew, it's a machitza. So in the Orthodox synagogues, they've got a machitza between the men and the women. At the Kotel, the Western Wall in Jerusalem, you'll see there's a machitza, there's a separating wall between the men's side and the women's side. So he's talking about this machitza that was between the Jews and the Gentiles. The Gentiles had to stay separate. The Jews could not mix together with those who were not Jewish. And there was a wall of partition between them. And it says that he abolished in his flesh the enmity, that is, the hostility. He abolished the hostility, and he created in himself one new man out of the two, thus making peace, shalom. So he, Messiah, Yeshua, he himself is our peace. And there's an analogy about Gentiles being grafted into the olive tree. So this is in Romans chapter 25. And again, it's talking about the olive tree and the olive branches. And it says in verse 17 that the Gentiles, who are called wild olives, they have been grafted in amongst the natural or the cultivated olive tree, which is Israel. And it says have become partakers of the rich root. So this root is the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then it says, you do not support the root, but the root supports you. It says, don't be arrogant towards these branches. So I think that there is a warning here. It says, do not be ignorant of this mystery. There's some kind of mystery with regards to Israel and the Jewish people and the Gentiles and this one new man and the olive branch. And this is it. So if the church, if the Christian church is ignorant of this mystery, they're not going to understand God's plans and purposes for Israel and for the Jewish people, and they will therefore be arrogant against the branches. So it says, understand this mystery. And what is the mystery? The mystery is that God put a temporary blindness over the eyes of the Jewish people with regards to our Messiah, a temporary blindness, so that what? So that salvation could come to the Gentiles. Until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in, which some believe happened in 1967, or it's approaching the time when Jerusalem is no longer trampled on by the Gentiles. It's now back in Jewish hands. And then it says, and in the end, a deliverer will come to Zion, and all Israel will be saved. Kol Yisrael Yivasha. That is the good news. And that is the good news that we have shalom together. The wild olives, the cultivated olives together, the same root, the God of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the Messiah Yeshua. So shalom to you in all the whole meaning of that word. And make sure you like this, share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go to the website, sign up for our Torah studies, voiceforisrael.net, and just be in touch. We love sharing these messages with you from the land of Israel. It's such an honor and privilege. So talk to you again.